Today's word is silence the lie and change clothes properly. Silence the lie and change clothes properly. First lie I want to tell you, first thing I want to tell y'all about lies is always built off of the truth. Some kind of way that's built off of the truth. One of the things that's happened in the church that we have continued to carry a lie is that we all say that, and we know this, Jesus was the only one that walked the earth perfect. Can I get an amen? Is Jesus the only one that walked the earth perfect? So if Jesus is the only one to walk the earth perfect, why is it that when somebody who's a Christian, a church, a deacon, a leader, do something wrong, we beat them down? No remorse, no grace. Talk about them, beat them like a dog, carry on the lie. See, you don't actually know what happened or actually know the story unless you was there. So you really don't know what's going on in your life unless you was there to know. That's a lie that the devil has always come. If you would turn with me to Genesis 3. Genesis is the first book in the Bible and the third chapter. So if you can't find that, I'm going to just tell you, I'm just playing. But I'm going to say, he can't find it. Bobby Joe would be the one that can't find it. But it is the first book, Genesis, and we're going to the third chapter to silence the lies and change clothes properly. I'm going to tell you, they say the devil was a good-looking angel. Say the devil wasn't ugly until he became the devil, which is interesting. He had good music that came from him. But it said that the devil came into a serpent. And as we listen, it says, now the serpent was more crafty than any animals the Lord had made. And he said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat from the tree of the garden? The woman said to the serpent, we may not eat from the trees in the garden, but God did say. He said, we may eat from the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden. You must not touch it, or you will die. The serpent said, you certainly won't die. For God knows that when you eat, that your eyes will be open and you will be like God, and you'll know good from evil. See, obviously, the woman wasn't scared when she seen the serpent. She didn't say anything about Eve was afraid, Eve was scared, Eve was anything. But when the serpent came, he came in a form of something that looked good. Said the serpent was more crafty than anything. That's how people get you. They look good. You don't ask no questions when you're single and somebody look good. You know what I'm saying? You just date. You just go for it. You look good. I'm not going to question this. You're looking good. So he picked something that would be intriguing to our eyes. But then what did he do? He came and he said something, but when he asked her, didn't God say this? I mean, he didn't lie necessarily. There was a tree. There was a garden, you know. See, sometimes it's not what people tell you, it's what they didn't tell you. That's what'll get you. See, when you pay for your phone, they tell you you got YouTube, you got Google, you got Netflix, but they don't tell you that you're paying for it. They ain't tell you all that stuff. Ike and Tina would have been in great shape if Ike would have told her he was going to be slapping her the rest of her life. If he'd have let her know off the gate, listen, it's going to be some slaps every day in this, she would have been better if she would have known, but he didn't tell her that part. He left that part out and continued with the lie. And then he tried to trick her, you know, God know if you know. I mean, come on. When we was kids, what we tell each other? Somebody always told us, your mom and them don't know nothing, man. Don't know nothing. Go on, hit this one time. You'll never be addicted. Go on, sip this one time. You'll never be a drunk. You'll never lose your life. Your family will never fall apart. Go on, run these streets. Don't go to church. What does church know? God don't know all the stuff. We have a good time. Go on, have sex. Girl, that baby ain't going to be a baby daddy. They ain't going to never take care of your kids. Have some sex with them. Why not? He didn't tell her all of that stuff that comes. Didn't tell her the end game or the results of the lies. He just tell you something and let you fall for it because it looked good. It looked good to your eyes. You go ahead and do it. That's what the devil do. He don't tell you everything, and that's what people are today. They don't tell you everything. So when the woman saw the fruit in the tree was good and food was pleasing to the eye and desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and she ate. And she gave some to her husband. I'm still trying to figure out where was he at from the start with. Ain't nobody figured that out yet. So I'm going to say this ain't Bible. I'm just going to say Stephen. He might have been in the bathroom. He wasn't hanging with the homies. He wasn't chasing no other women. There wasn't nobody there but him and Eve. You know what I'm saying? So where was he? And then he said she gave some to her husband and they both ate and their eyes was open and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made a covering over themselves. Now, in chapter 2, verse 25, it said, Adam and his wife were both naked and they felt no shame. We live in a trending world today. We live in a world where everybody trends. See, if you've been laying on a bed and you couldn't walk, when you get out, the doctor said you couldn't walk. When you get up and you start walking and somebody runs, all of a sudden you forget that God just got you up out that bed. You start to feel naked again. Oh man, when you start going, see now you can't go to Myrtle Beach and Virginia Beach. That ain't good enough. You got to go to Okaloko, Pokaloko. You got to go somewhere with a plane, boat, and a train for these people today. If you ain't going there, it ain't good enough. They want somewhere they can post, somewhere there ain't nobody been. Myrtle Beach was always good. It was always good to go there until now. That's not good enough. So when you go there now, the sand don't feel good. The water ain't hot. I mean, it sucks now because they ain't what they posting no more. They ain't trending no more. Now you feel naked when you do these things. You were perfectly fine with where you were at until somebody got in your ear. You forgot where God had you until somebody got in your ear. Oh, when I come home from a prison cell and I see people with their cars and clothes and homes, I felt naked. I felt like I didn't have nothing. I forgot God just got me out of a jail cell. Just that fast. I felt naked all of a sudden. And what did I do? I put on fig leaves. I'm put on a switch in a minute, but I put on fig leaves. Now that's what you do. You forget where God has brought you because somebody done got in your ear all of a sudden. So they sewed the fig leaves together to make a covering himself. Then the man, when he heard the sound of God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, he hid. He hid in the garden, and the Lord called for him, and he answered. He said, I heard you, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. And God said, who told you you was naked? Have you ate from that tree I commanded you not to eat? Adam did something that all sorry people do. See, everybody wants leadership. Nobody wants ownership. Leadership gets to point a couple of fingers and say what to do. Ownership means you got to own up when you're wrong. Don't nobody want that though. I don't want to take responsibilities when it's wrong. Like I said, if you'd have hooked Ike and Tina up and it was a great relationship, every time they have an anniversary, I'm the one who hooked them up. But being it was sorry, you'd be like, I told her he wasn't hitting on nothing. You know what I'm saying? I told her not to trust him, you know. But he didn't want ownership, so Adam did what everybody sorry always do. But Adam he didn't take the blame. He blamed somebody else. But he didn't just blame the woman, he blamed the woman and God. He said, Lord, it was that woman that you gave to me. I was laying in the bed chilling. I woke up, you had her beside me. I ain't asked for this woman. Took the whole thing and blamed God. And he said that, so God said to the serpent, you'll be deceived, for your deceiving you'll pay. The devil tricked the serpent. The serpent was a crafty animal. The devil tricked him. And he told the woman she would go through labor pains and all of these things. And he told Adam, you return to the dirt, and the dust is where you return. Thanks, Adam. Now we got to get buried. We were doing good. We could have had a long lasting life. It was just something how the devil comes through and silence the lies. So now that they have these fig clothes on, God made the first sacrifice. The first atonement that it was ever made, the first sacrifice, the best sacrifice was Jesus Christ. The first sacrifice was made was God had to make a sacrifice and change their clothes. Take them fig leaves off and give them some real stuff to wear. That was the first sacrifice, the first atonement. Anytime there's atonement, there is always blood. Always blood. You know, I thought it was interesting. God could have got rid of them, y'all know, and started all over again. But he loved us so much, what he do? He made a sacrifice for us and put us on some clothes. I want to tell y'all something. You've got to be wearing your robe of righteousness. No matter what clothes you put on your robe of righteousness. It's a robe from God, and the only way you can wear that, the church can't give it to you, your mama can't give it to you, the pastor can't give it to you. Only God can give you your robe of righteousness. You know that? And when you wear that robe of righteousness, no matter what else you have on, it comes with something, and God gives you these things to keep your command. I'm not picking on people that want to go to Oklahoma, because God wants you to go everywhere, but he wants you to keep his commandments. See, there was a thing about clothes. Clothes have changed over the years. They used to wear sackcloth. Sackcloth is always a time of mourning and a time of humility. They wore sackcloth when people had died, and sackcloth was the cheapest thing they could wear. We get dressed to kill to go to a funeral. See how it done changed? You know what I'm saying? We get dressed to kill, go to somebody's funeral. They wore the worst thing they had in the closet. And it always was humility. They tore their clothes. David tore his clothes when the baby died. He wanted to show his humility. He tore his clothes. And it said, when you tore your clothes, it was mourning or heartbreak. I used to have homeboys be arguing with their girls and tear their clothes. And I used to think to myself, that dummy done lost his woman and his clothes. Ripped his shirt for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it was always things like that. Shoes were something that in the presence of the Lord, they would take your shoes off, or they always, anytime you had a deal that would be made with somebody, you would exchange shoes. You know, Jonathan that was beefing with Saul, Jonathan was Saul's son. David, Saul wanted David dead. Jonathan gave Saul his whole garment to make a covenant with him. To give somebody your covenant, to give somebody your whole garment is a big deal. I mean, I'm just guessing in my mind, that would be like Pastor giving me his truck. Some of y'all wouldn't like that, but I would drive in it anyway. I'm telling you that right now. But it's just, and the same thing happened with Jacob. Jacob and his son Joseph. He gave his son a tunic, gave his son like a coat that the other brothers didn't like that. Now the story right there goes a little bit deeper with Jacob and Joseph because they had different mothers. In the movie Boys of the Hood, Ice Cube played Doughboy, Morris Chestnut played Ricky, and the mama loved Ricky because she loved the daddy. She hated Doughboy because she hated the daddy. That's kind of what happened with Jacob and his brothers. He loved their mama a little bit more than he loved the rest of them. Plus, he was given to him at an older age. So he skipped over the other boys and gave this boy something. It happened in my house. My daddy skipped Tony. He skipped Bear, skipped Tony, skipped Rodney, got to Greg and said, you can have everything. Then he was saying, looking at me and saying, you can share with your little brother if you want to. Well, Greg didn't like me, so I knew I wasn't getting nothing. I'm like, what kind of deal is this? This sucks. Greg don't even like me. You gonna tell me he got leadership over what I get? So when he did all of this stuff, these were things that were happening in the days with clothes. They would change clothes in different garments, sackcloth, and they wore loud and festive clothes when they went places. I mean, anytime it was different cultures and different things that they would do when they wore clothes. Today, our clothes hit differently. You know, we wear clothes today in different ways. Our first terrorists would have been Christopher Columbus now, and the clothes that they wore came with a gun. The clothes that the Indians who already lived here came with only had a bow and arrow. So they were able to take their stuff. With the guns was better than the bow and arrow. Gangsters were not originated with Crips and Bloods. The first ones were mob and mafia and the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan were deadly. They were brutal. But the Ku Klux Klan was at their worst when they changed clothes. See, when they took their mask off, the one who locked you up, the lawyer, and the judge all were Ku Klux Klan, but you didn't know that. When we go to fight a war, it was easy for America to fight the war in other pieces where people wore an outfit. But when they got to Afghanistan, a good, same regular guy was no different than the Taliban. They hadn't changed clothes. How do you kill your enemy when you don't know who he is? How do you fight somebody you don't know this type of? See that when we came with that word frenemy, I would rather have my enemy than a frenemy because my enemy know, get out of my face, stay out of my face. But friends know everything about you. They know your ups, your downs, your ugly, your good, your bad. They know everything about you. And when your friend becomes your enemy, ain't nobody worse to have an enemy than somebody know everything about you. Good gracious, and somebody you don't even know is beside you. It's hard to shoot somebody you don't know they're your enemy. That was one of the worst wars that they had to fight in Afghanistan. Not knowing about the clothes that they changed. Ku Klux Klan, we still deal with that today. Because we don't know which one of them are still Ku Klux Klan because they sit in Senate's office, Congress, the doctor, the dentist, the lawyer, the judge, all of this stuff. And we don't know. It would be easy if they would just put their outfit back on. One thing about the church is we wear a robe of righteousness. So there's really no identity of who your pastor is unless he's wearing, what do you call it, that they wear clergy. Unless they have on clergy, you don't know. With the robe of righteousness, John the Baptist said they'll know who you are by your works. By your works. And God wants you to keep his command. That's all you got to know is by your works. That's how they'll know who you are. Peter would warn women about braiding their hair and wearing makeup about being too showy. What did he say? Don't do your hair, girl. Get your hair done, nails did, everything did. But don't let that speak for who you are. They still know that you're a Christian. They still need to know that you're a woman. You don't need to be an Instagram model for anybody to know who you are. Taking pictures of your body for somebody to address you. They need to know you serve the Lord. And he was warning them of that right there. He was warning them of how to dress. All of these things were different things that we had to go through. The skirt back in the day was always referenced to a man. So don't come to me with that LGBTQ crap. I don't want to hear it. It was always referred to for a man to wear a skirt. They didn't have jeans back then, you know what I'm saying? But every dress and skirts that they wore, there was always something different that separated a man's wear from a woman's wear. And it was forbidden for them to switch up those outfits. You couldn't wear that stuff back then. You couldn't just put on something that a woman had. You couldn't do it. They wouldn't play that. So it was a whole different thing about clothes that we wear. But if you have on your clothes of righteousness, one thing I loved about when I was reading about clothes of righteousness, robe of righteousness, was it said humility. There are too many people battling, too many people jealous, too many people envious, too many people hate, too much darkness going on. Have you took your robe off? Where is your robe, Christian? Where is your robe when you hating? Where is your robe when you're mad? Where is your robe when you're upset? Where is your robe when you're jealous? Where is your robe of righteousness that you should have on at all times? You don't take that off. That seems to be something that in the Christian house and the Christian faith we take off. It's like people that go to work. If you work in a restaurant and you got your day off and you go by it and they pack, you be like, "Whoa, I'm glad I ain't at work today." But if you're a firefighter and somebody's house is burning down, you can't say, "I'm glad I ain't work today." You got to get up and go do what you got to do. That's what we got to do as Christians. We don't get to turn this off. There's too many people that want to do Christianity and not be Christianity. This ain't something that you got to live this. This is who you are. You don't get to, I don't get to go home and take my jacket off and like, yeah, I get to be a thug again. It don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem that we have today. We have that badly in the house of God. Silence the lies. There's all kinds of lies. We are to never be talking about each other's downfall. We ought to be praying for it. Where do we miss that? Where do we miss that? Now the lies is going all over the place. Then you go tell somebody else about somebody that won't even come to church about something happening in church when you wasn't supposed to be doing that mess. That's like I said, the first lie was we act like everybody's supposed to be perfect. Well, if y'all think I'm going to be perfect, forget it. So I can't. I done tried. Nobody did it but Jesus. Somewhere I'm going to fall short, and I got to be honest about that. But if you can't accept me falling short, it's your fault. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Your problem, not mine. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, I was rewatching the movie Harriet Tubman, and I love that movie about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman did some strong stuff, but she walked and she survived. Harriet Tubman got hit in the head by a slave owner, and people were saying that she had seizures and aneurysms, all kinds of things. And Harriet said when she fell, she always had visions from God. So Harriet, first of all, let me ask anybody, is anybody down to walk with me to Charlotte? Anybody want to walk with me to Charlotte? I see my aunt back there like, you got right. We ain't walking that mailbox. Anybody want to walk to Charlotte? Charlotte from this church is 90 miles. Harriet walked 116. 116 miles. Dirt roads, running for your life, watching out for dogs, all kinds of stuff. No Walmart, no Walgreens, no CVS, no Texaco, no Sheetz, no McDonald's, no hot dog man, no none of that stuff. No Aquafina bottled waters, none of it. Harriet walked. No deodorant, no chapstick, no Vaseline, no lotion, none of that. Harriet walked. And she made it by herself. When she got there, the man that she got there in the movie was like, "Hey, where everybody else at?" She said, "It's just me." That ought to let women know y'all are stronger than you think you are. Don't let nobody tell you that you're nothing. You're powerful. You're a strong sister. Because wherever a man don't show up, God will raise up a woman. Don't ever forget that. Harriet showed up and did something that no man do and still ain't done to this day. What Harriet Tubman did. She went 116 miles by herself. So the man said, "Lord, that's what she changed her name to Harriet Tubman, named after her mother and her first husband, who, once she left, he remarried somebody else." Sorry, the Negroes can get on you, switch up real quick, don't they? But either way, he sent Harriet to the woman in the movie to go get her clothes changed. So Harriet went to go change the clothes, and the woman said something to her. She said, "Harriet ain't trying to be funny, but you stink." Harriet looked at her. "Have you ever been a slave?" "No." "You ever been hit in your back?" "No." "You ever ran for your life?" "No." "You ever walked 116 miles by yourself?" "No." So let me tell y'all something. Haters are never on your level. Those are the people who hate on you. And most of the people hate because they don't have a clue what you've been through to get where you at today. Don't talk about where somebody lived when you don't know where they came from, where they was living. Don't talk about what they driving when you don't know what they was driving. Don't talk about what they eating when you don't know what they was eating. Come on. First thing you want to do is tell me I done been through the war and back. You couldn't survive this. You couldn't have survived the childhood some people had. You couldn't do what some people have done. You know what I'm saying, elder? They couldn't have made what you made to get here. Being an elder wasn't easy. Being a deacon wasn't easy. Being an usher with it. Being a black woman wasn't easy. So when somebody try to talk about what you got, don't worry about what I got. You don't know what I did to get there. Don't worry about my babies. You don't know what I did to feed them. So now, this woman has gave Harry the tub. Harris took a shower and everything. She's in a tub that she never laid in because she was a slave girl. She's never laid in a tub like this. She's never combed her hair with a brush like this or a comb like this. She's sitting at a table that she's never said that she was a slave. She's sitting in a chair, she's never said that she was a slave. She's eating off a plate she's never ate off. She was a slave with a spoon. She was a slave. Everything that Harriet has is new. She's never done this before. She was a slave. She's never had this before. Harriet got dressed up and got fresh. She went back to the man and she said, I'm ready to go back. He said, where, Harriet? Where you going? You going, where you going? Florida? You going to Cali for a little bit? You going to Okaloosa? I mean, what you going to do, Harriet? Harriet said, no, I'm going back to get my people. He said, no, Harriet, you can't do that. You barely made it. You ain't going to make it if you go back. You barely made it. Plus, look at you, girl. You don't change clothes. See, this is the problem right here with Christians. When you change clothes, you forget what your job was. Your job wasn't to get brand new and forget God's commandments. Now that you got on them clothes, go back and get them people that want to be free. Go back and save them people that want to be free. I'm trying to tell you something. But here's the biggest problem. Today is different. But even then, Harriet had people that wouldn't go back with her because they was happy to be in their bondage. I'm perfectly fine dealing with Ike. Tina was fine dealing with Ike for a while. No, girl, I don't want that freedom. I'm good over here. I'm good on this prison cell. I'm good keep going back and forth to jail. I'm good sitting here being broke. I'm good sitting here doing this. I don't want no better. They didn't want no better as slaves. So you can imagine it's even worse that people are free today. They don't want to hear about this freedom that you talk about with Jesus Christ. This sounds like bondage to them. It sounds like rules and regulations versus this is instructions on how to live. And Harriet knew what the job was. See, Harriet knew, even though I'm gonna put on your clothes, I'm not taking off my robe of righteousness. She still made history. To this day, Harriet Tubman has still made history and done things. And she went back. And on that particular 116-mile route, she saved over 70 people. Going back and forth, 116 miles with no car, no bus, no nothing. But she knew that I got God. I can do it all. If I got this robe on, I can do it all. No, I'm not telling anybody not to do nothing. I remember when I had my Jordashes on, I was happy in the house. Walked bow-legged around the room. And then when I got to school and found out they was fake, I came back home and told Mom I didn't want them. Who you been talking to, Steve? You loved them before you went back home, before you went to school. Lies that we are telling ourselves. We always feel like we ain't good enough where God got us set because we're listening to somebody else. That's why I say don't cover it over somebody else's life. Go ahead and celebrate somebody else's life. I'm so proud of everybody in here. I'm so proud of everybody in here. And I hope you do good and even better tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing that Harriet knew. I'm going to go back and get my people. She knew that. Those other people had got theirs, all right. And, you know all the time. I'm going to tell the older church was some pointer fingers. I mean, people's nose in their hairs. And you didn't feel welcome in the church. You just really didn't. It was like, I'm saved now. You better figure it out. Anything you do, I forgot I used to do it too. I'm better than you. That's the problem we have in the house. That's the problem that I'm running into. People are still scared of that stuff. Oh, I don't want to go because they judge me. That's the lie I told you. Jesus was the only one that walked perfect. We can't judge nobody else. All of us got a story, baby. All of us have been through something, baby. All of us are going through something, baby. And it's a real story. And your testimony ain't everybody's business. It's between you and the Lord. And you just got to thank him that he got you through this. But I'm going to tell you something that I want people to understand is God, in Ezekiel, I found out, God don't want you to be broke. If you turn into Ezekiel 16, verse 9, you'll find out something that God didn't want everybody being all broken and busted. He didn't want that. If you keep his commandments, that's what he wants you to do. In Ezekiel 16 and 9, he said, I bathed you with water and washed the blood from you, put ointments on you. I clothed you in embroidered dresses and put sandals of fine leather on you. I dressed you in fine linen. I covered you with costly garments. I adorned you with jewelry. I put bracelets on your arm and your necklaces and on your neck. I put a ring on your nose, earrings. I put ears on your beauty and a beautiful crown on your head. So you were adorned with gold and silver. Your clothes were fine linen and costly fabric and embroidered with clothes. Your food was honey, olive oil, the finest flour. You became beautiful as a rose, and your fame spread among the nations on account of your beauty. Because the splendor I have given you, I made you a beauty perfect, declares the Lord. I made your beauty perfect, declares the Lord, is what he said. God said, I did this. So here's the question, the quick thing. When you do see pastors, and people always talking about the pastor, the church money. Let me help y'all real quick with something about this pastor taking the church money. When you tithe, that covenant is between you and God. So if I go buy a Mercedes with your money, it does not stop nothing between you and God. He will still bless you because the covenant was between you and God, not you and the pastor. When you sow, it's between you and God and what you're sowing into. Quit looking at the people and see people still running around. That pastor took all that money. That's why I don't go to church. That's why you're missing your blessings. And your blessings, see, oh Lord, I forgot to tell you, we try to dress up faith. Faith is money, cars, and clothes for us. Faith ain't getting up out of a bed that you couldn't get up out of. Faith ain't food being on your table when you didn't have nothing to eat. Faith ain't going to the doctor and he saying ain't nothing wrong with you. Faith ain't your children is good when they was bad. Faith ain't all that stuff all of a sudden. It's cars, clothes, and money. We don't dress up faith. That ain't faith. That's what the world says it is. As soon as we get something nice, Lord, the Lord's been good to me. The Lord's good to me because he woke me up. I got so many homies that ain't woke up. You know what I'm saying? And what he's doing, when he said, I gave them all this stuff, he wanted them to have it. He wants people to have it. He wants you to go to Opa Loca Loca Loca. He really does. If you keep his commandments. So we sat here and heard all this stuff. That here, this is what was so crazy for me. He said, but you trusted in your beauty and used your fame to prostitute. God said you prostituted. God said you took your beauty. You took the beauty I made you be and prostituted it to the world. You took my, so this is what, let me break it down. Let me clarify for people, because everybody always beats these, oh, Lord, don't let me say sorry, pastors, because I mean, just sorry, I don't want to say that word. It beats these people down that get this money and buy those coats. How you get robbed for $1 million worth of jewelry in a church? What have you put in your community? If this church got $1 million worth of jewelry on, it's $100 million worth of sewing going into some communities. I'm telling you that right now. We got a whole lot of wells built, a whole lot of things, if we can wear that. But God wants you to have it, just keep his commandments. It's a whole lot of people that don't keep his commandments, and he will expose you. He will shut you down. He told Jerusalem, because you have trusted in your beauty and used your fame to become a prostitute, you lavished your favors on anyone who passed by. You gave yourself to anybody. To anybody you gave yourself to. And your beauty became his. You took some of your garments to make God in high places. You took the stuff that God gave you and put yourself in better positions in the world. You took the stuff that God gave you and made yourself famous. You took the stuff that God gave you and made yourself good. You took that money and bought you a nice car so everybody can look at you. You took that money and did those things. You went to him with your possessed beauty. You also took fine jewelry that I gave you. Jewelry that I gave you and made gold and silver, and you prostituted them. You took the clothes and put them on. You offered my oil and incense before them. Also, the food I provided for you, the flour, the olive oil, the honey, and gave it to them to eat. You offered fragrant incense to them. That is what happened, declares the Lord. That when God gave them a chance to change clothes, they forgot about God. God gave them a chance to dress nice. They didn't think about God. You ever had somebody that you helped get there, and when they got there, they act like you wasn't ever even a part of it? Ever had somebody just switch up the minute you was there with them when they was down and had nothing? And the minute they got a little something, the first person they turned their nose up, it was you. You wouldn't have had nothing if it wasn't for me. You wouldn't have had nothing if it wasn't for God. They forgot about God. That's what they did. And the whole time, God was just sitting back saying, all this stuff I gave to you, and you're going to switch it up on me. I put these clothes on your back. I put you in that car. I gave you the new job that you said if you get you was going to tie. I gave you the car that you said you're going to get you was going to come to church. I ain't seen you since. You ain't drove nowhere. Ain't been nowhere. When you switch clothes, when you switched outfits, when you switched gear, you switched up on me. How many people that got their little job switched up on you? How many times did people get something and they switched up on you? It happens all the time. These people did it to God. So what makes you think people won't do it to you? The lies that people tell all the time about you. It's hard to tell somebody everything because if y'all ever not be friends, go, who say they're going to keep your secrets? When people change clothes, they forget. That's why as Christians, we don't only have but one outfit that we need to be worried about wearing. One robe of righteousness. That's all we need to know we need to have on our back is our robe. Your robe comes with humility and it comes with grace. It comes with mercy. It comes with peace. Jesus offered peace when he said, come to me and I'll give you peace. When you live in life that ain't peaceful, you need to check where you ever go and who you have allowed in your life. Who is this? I'm not peaceful no more. Things ain't feeling good no more. I'm not happy no more. Like I said, Adam and Eve was good. They was perfectly fine being naked until they found out, wait a minute, I ain't got no clothes on. You be happy with that new car when you was walking until somebody pull up with a brand new and better than yours, then all of a sudden your car ain't good enough no more. Oh, people get competitive. They do. You pull up on a new car, they go to the car lot the next week to get something better than yours. Trying to make you feel like where God brought you at ain't good enough. You have to be content with where God, but not complacent. God don't want you to get stagnant and stuck where you at. He wants you to get up. He wants you to grow. He wants you to go. God wants you to do some things. These clothes that we wear are so different today because we put on stuff. Some stuff say who we are and some stuff say what we do. You got to be careful with it. I remember talking to a buddy. I was going to California. I asked him what kind of shirts could I wear, what color shirts I could wear. He said, there's all kinds of gangs in here. You just talking red and blue. But he said, wear the black shirt, the white shirt, stay out of the right areas, you'll be all right. But he looked down at my shoes. I had some red shoestrings. And he said, you definitely can't wear them because they're going to check you with them shoes on. Sometimes clothes say who you are. You got to be careful what you got on. You got to be careful what you wear and where you going with it on. You know what I'm saying? But if your robe of righteousness is on, you already know what to put on. You already know how to look. You already know not to be too showy and too classy. You know what I'm saying? So God was very upset with them that they offered his stuff. He said, you took your sons and daughters whom was born to me and sacrificed them for food and idols. You gave your children up for the wrong stuff. Everything God gave us, we pretend. Sometimes people get into a place where they pervert it. Everything God gives you. Jezebel, right before she died, she painted her face because they said at that point in time it was unworthy. Jezebel painted her eyebrows or something to say she was unworthy of it. But that had nothing to do with what women do today. As long as you got your robe of righteousness on today, you are in good shape. As long as you continuously wear your robe, you are in good shape. That is the number one outfit that we always need to have, the number one outfit we need not to take off of. We always need to remember stories like Harriet Tubman, that even when we do change clothes, we still have a mission, we still have an objective, we still have a motive, we still need to come back and do what God tells us to do, be there where God tells us to be. We can't forget about the people that are still ready to come back. There was a whole lot of slaves that wanted to be saved from their freedom and their bondage. There's a whole lot of people that are out there that really wants to come to church. You just ain't going to go find them. You ain't went back to go see where they at. I don't want to go there no more. Like that. You got to go back. Whatever you got to go on, you got to go back. Your robe of righteousness will send you right to them people who need your help, who needs your saving, who needs your grace, who needs your mercy. And that's what the Bible is telling us to do. So the question I ask everybody is, you got your robe on? You got your robe on. Are you still wearing it? Are you still wearing it? Next time you get mad, actually, go get your robe. Next time you get upset, I mean, you can turn the news and the TV on, boy, you can get mad. Politics can make you mad. Kids today can make you mad. Shooting and murder can make you mad. Somebody going in the grocery store and killing innocent people can make you mad. Going to shoot up schools can make you mad. But you got to keep your robe of righteousness on. There's a whole lot of stuff that make you mad, but you got to keep your robe of righteousness on. So you got your robe on. Are you still wearing it? That's the question today, Christians. No matter what store you shop in, what outfit you buy, how expensive or how cheap it is, none of that matters if you ain't got your robe of righteousness on. None of that matters if you're not wearing what God told you to put on. I'm not going to sit before you long. I just had a question of action. Have you taken your robe off? Or are you still wearing it? Have you given up on God sometimes? Which outfit are you wearing today? Pastor preached the word and said, which you are you today? What clothes you got on today? Did your outfit define you today? Was looking good better than looking God? Is church still important to you? Is praying still important to you? Is keeping his commandments still important to you? Is having the same grace and mercy for somebody else still important to you? You need it. You want it. Is looking at somebody's downfall and praying for it still important for you? Go ahead, bump it up, B. Is doing the right thing still important for you? Oh, is praying for your frenemies still important to you? Can you pray for the Ku Klux Klan? Can you pray for that person that lied on you? Can you pray for that person that ruined your entire life? Can you pray for that person that left you? Is your robe of righteousness still on? How hard is it to keep that on? What outfit are you wearing today, and will you have it on tomorrow? You come to church with it on. Did you keep it on when you left church? Do you still have patience and peace for everybody that you want for you? Are you still hoping that everybody sees you as beautiful and you see everybody else? Are you troubled by something? Are you worried about what the doctor said? Are you worried about your health? Are you worried about your mind or your finances? Do you have your robe on? Because your robe will help you with all of this. That robe came with some peace, came with some love and some adoration. If the church is wearing a robe today, let me hear you say amen. Amen. Give God some praise. Give God some praise. Don't that thing up for me, B.